Like so many Star Trek episodes, the theme of A Journey to Babel was inspired by the Bible. It is the story of the Tower of Babel and how miscommunication can lead to destruction. This biblical tale was transformed into a story of a diverse group of alien delegates en route to planet Babel to draw up an important peace treaty. Journey to Babel proved to be one of the most popular Star Trek episodes because here we meet Spock's parents for the first time, an intergalactic odd couple, the Vulcan ambassador Sarek and his human wife Amanda. It's also a story about the complex relationship between a Vulcan father and his son. And now, Journey to Babel.
Croydon has nearly unlimited wealth of dilithium crystals, but it is underpopulated and unprotected. This invites illegal mining operations.
Well, it was called Journey to Babel, and I was a false Andorian. They introduced the idea of the Andorian in the storyline.
Find your own answers, Captain.
Well, I literally arrived, I think, at 5:30 or 5:45 in the morning, and I was told the makeup would take a little time, and they put on like a matte finish for an actor. And then the hair, the antennae, and so on and so forth. It took, I think, almost 2 hours. So it was laborious, but I didn't mind.
My people are a violent race, but we had no quarrel with Captain Kirk.
Paul something or other, I can't think of his name now. He was a very gifted stunt guy. He did the actual fight. I had a couple of body movements, in a sense, with Shatner. All I could think of as we were doing it was, I'm fighting with a great classical actor. I had known of Shatner in Canada and the fact that he was brought to Hollywood to play in The Brothers Karamazov. So I was, in a sense, in awe of him, too. And he was, of course, superb as Captain Kirk. We all know that.
Bridge, Spock.
Spock here.
I'm on deck 5, near my quarters. I've been attacked by an Andorian. Security. Security team.
Captain. Captain. Captain.
Mark Leonard, who portrays Sarek, Spock's father in this episode, has previously played the Romulan commander in Balance of Terror. And Amanda, Spock's mother, is played by veteran actress Jane Wyatt. You may recognize her as yet again another television mother in her role as Margaret Anderson in Father Knows Best. The roles of Sarek and Amanda struck a deep chord in the Star Trek audience, as lore would have it. Leonard reprised his fatherly role as in Star Trek's 3, 4, and 6, and Wyatt returned to her role of Amanda in Star Trek 4.
How does that Vulcan salute go? That hurts worse than the uniform.
Journey to Babel is my favorite because, again, it dealt with Spock's emotions, with his relationships with other people that he should love. His mother, he did love.
And you haven't come to see us in 4 years, either.
The situation between my father and myself has not changed.
They're both stubborn.
A human trait, Captain?
As a result, they hadn't spoken for some 16 to 18 years. And the story is really about healing that schism between them, making them come together, the generation gap story.
Journey to Babel was a wonderful script, a powerful melodrama. The struggle between the choice that Spock would have to make between family and career, duty, obligation, told in very powerful dramatic terms. Wonderfully cast with Mark Leonard, who became the personification of Spock's father. Very powerful, dignified performance, dignified actor, brought a lot to it.
I prefer another guide, Captain.
And Jane Wyatt as Spock's human mother, very human mother.
Your father's dying.
Mother, how can you have lived on Vulcan so long, married a Vulcan, raised a son on Vulcan, without understanding what it means to be a Vulcan?
Well, if this is what it means, I don't want to know.
The story really was about those three people and their family together, and why it was, at this point, not a family, but was going to move toward healing.
Can you imagine what my father would say if I were to agree, if I were to give up command of this vessel, jeopardize hundreds of lives, risk interplanetary war, all for the life of one person?
It meant a lot to me to act out this story. It was a painful story to act out, but good drama always has that kind of grit in it, where there's a struggle that somebody has to work their way through.
If being Vulcan is more important to you, then you'll stand there, speaking rules and regulations from Starfleet and Vulcan philosophy, and let your father die, and I'll hate you for the rest of my life.
Mother.
Oh, go to him now, please.
Spock had to work his way through a struggle here.
I cannot.
Including a very serious slap in the face from his mother. A very human outpouring of pain and anger expressed that way because Spock was letting his father down.
Because the entire episode of Journey to Babel was shot on board the Enterprise and no new sets had to be built, more money was available to spend on the show's makeup and costumes. The results were so good that many people felt that the bar scene in Star Wars owed a nod to this episode. For those of you who want to take a census, the Tellarites were tall, stocky humanoids with pig-like faces and furry bodies. The Andorians, blue-skinned with white hair and knobby antennae on their head. And the Vulcans? Where shall I begin? Those pointy ears, their upswept brows, the pale green complexion, the bearing. They look a lot like Leonard Nimoy.
Early in the second season of Star Trek, we got to learn a little bit more about the enigmatic Mr. Spock and his fellow Vulcans in an episode entitled Amok Time. The fans clamored for more, and quite frankly, so did I. I was hoping that as the series progressed, I'd get another chance to explore the history of my Vulcan alter ego. After Amok Time, it seemed like Spock was more of a mystery than ever. Who were his parents? What was his childhood like? What was it like to grow up half human, half Vulcan? These were only some of the many questions about Spock that both I and the fans were asking. Fortunately, we didn't have to wait too long for the answers. Of particular note for me in Journey to Babel was, of course, the introduction of Spock's parents, Sarek and Amanda. Mark Leonard and Jane Wyatt came to me at the beginning of shooting this episode to ask for my thoughts on the Vulcan story, what I might suggest for Vulcanisms. I told them that I'd been thinking in terms of hand-oriented activity, the Vulcan neck pinch, the Vulcan hand salute. And so I suggested that they find a way of touching hand to hand that might be unique and particularly Vulcan in nature. They executed this by touching each other's forefingers as they walked. They pulled it off wonderfully, and I must say the gesture is quite touching. A difficult and powerful dilemma for Spock in this story is which comes first, his duty, which is represented by his ship, or his family, which is represented by his mother and father. It's fairly clear that his loyalty to the ship and Starfleet takes precedence. The character Spock took another step forward in his search for his proper place in the outside world.